To be an initiate in the esoteric realm, or otherwise, boils down to the simplicity of mastering self-initiative in anything. Hence the title, an initiate. The requirement of self-initiative is a stepping stone to the next seed of equivalent benefit. Self-initiative is that which assists the process of growth. Self-initiative is what allows people to be that typical trash people subscribe to as being alpha or otherwise. Self-initiative is what leads to one learning and realizing that there's more to reality than what is readily available in front of them. When you start to step into the realm of comprehending how the world works from all its different branches, you would see the importance of learning pen and paper, because as it's been mentioned in the past, pen and paper is the invisible string that affects all of us in reality. The house people build that they live in, before they built it, the land they built it on, what type of structure can be built on that particular land, how it's built, how it's assessed, how it's used, who has interest in it, how long it lasts, all of that somewhere, somehow, all the way to how it's protected. What about the properties protected? Curtilage is defined differently. And the protection involved in curtilage when it comes to reasonable expectation of privacy is different from the protection of open view, like the open view doctrine, compared to the protection of when you're behind the door with things like knock and talk doctrine and the activation of the Fourth Amendment. All of that from the ground up before that house was placed on that land, all the way up to what you'll do, the extent of protection within that house and outside of it, but still relating to that house. All of that is affected by something someone at some point in time have, or currently is, or will be putting on pen and paper that will affect that interest, the state in that house. And that is just a house, for instance. There are many more other things when it comes to humans and their activities. And pen and paper, invisible strings that affect all of that. When you begin to look into these things, self-initiative is what allows you to realize, okay, I know that these things exist, but now I have to learn more. In the realms of how money works, when it comes to the nature of people you will be interfacing with, and that TDA account, part of its purpose, and how involves some of the things we'll be speaking of here, and how it even came to life, and why it functioned the way it functions. What we're going to be speaking of here is directly intertwined with it. You must know it. Selling short. This is when, in so much that there is something called a paper loss. And that paper is what generates monies. A lot of people go on with this thing where they say money is just gold and silver only. Money is an accepted medium of exchange. Money can be a trash can. Money can be a handful of sand. Money can be a handshake. Money can be how you make people feel. It's the reason why you will see all these financiers and all these wealthy people learn about human nature and psychology and neuropathy and brain elasticity and hypnosis, because they know that currency, money's flow of life. Same thing. And the way humans feel is a currency. It's a flow of life. And it affects whether people trust you or not. Whether or not the one using it is doing it in good faith is another equation. So money is anything so long as it is accepted as a medium of exchange. Even those who say gold and silver is money only say so because it was written down as an acceptable means of exchange to satisfy the debt of the United States per the Constitution. Yet those people saying money is only gold and silver are also the ones that say they're not United States citizens. But that gold and silver is the debt requirement to discharge United States debt to their creditors. So the assumption that money is strictly gold and silver is trash. Let's put that to the side. Either way, the difference with instrument is that property is the equitable interest on, if they're not doing short sales on the market with your property, called that birth certificate, then they don't give you any monies before using it. Fee to borrow the securities. This is what everyone is looking at when they say, hey, they're not giving me any cut from using my property on the market. Okay, you're saying all that and it sounds good and valid, but do you know why? And do you know how you can properly place yourself in a position whereby they have to give you monies before they can begin using what you purport to be your property? A default swap is a type of swap applicable whenever an alleged borrower, an alleged homeowner, an alleged debtor, under any given circumstance, home or not, whenever they default on the contract. Swap is just another way to ensure and secure the interest of whoever the lender is, in case it's a bad debt. Now let me go back a little bit to this term reimburse. In this process, the reimbursement with short selling and the PPM, that is when you begin to do the 1099 OID. That everyone is just arbitrarily doing gung-ho. They're doing a 1040V, 1099 OID, this and that. Sandwich this, sandwich that, all these speculations out here. Just throwing all these words and all these forms out there. But without a background of self-initiative of learning when, how, and why. Remember, information is like a relationship. If you're a man, think of that one female that you really were interested in. You saw her, she fits the perfect resume and description. Meaning you see something that you like, physically or otherwise. But you now know that, oh, I have to step quite carefully with this one and make sure that I don't screw it up. Information is the same way. Most people see information that's attractive and alluring. They just want to, it's like having some type of ADHD impulse. You see a female with that beautiful curve, you just want to touch it. But you need some self-control. See that woman that fills the description, you just want to have her. But you need to be prudent. Because your goal is to have it for long term and have it work on your team. Information is just like a woman. It is the exact same way. We complete 24-minute videos on the Patreon page. Take care. Best of luck.